Alright, gonna press. Alright, it looks like we might be live. Maybe. I will need you to confirm that, but for now, hello everyone, this is me, GameSlayer99, aka No Brainer, and I am joined here with RG Commander in the semi-finals match of the European Summer League. How are you doing, Commander, and do we have a stream?
Good afternoon, everyone. As to whether or not we have a stream, I'm still waiting for it to load up and get some access here, but this should be a great match between two of our most prominent Italian players.
Alright, people might have heard a brief echo. I have found the stream. We were in the stream. The stream is live. Everything is going very smoothly. No one pay attention to the fact that we started this 14 minutes late.
Excellent. Hey, better late than never, if you ask me.
Absolutely. So, the victory cards are where? The victory cards are over here. Cool, we will shuffle them. We shall start dealing them out, and that will tell our players to begin. We are just going to straight up go for it. Let's go. I'm going to go into grey now, and we are going to get into that beautiful, beautiful spectator hood, whatever this is. Yes, the hood.
The overlay?
The overlay, yes, that's it. I do not see the objectives at the top anymore. Interesting.
Maybe if you hit the refresh button that looks like the reaction key, sometimes...
Yeah, I've done that. That didn't work either way. Well, whatever. Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully that's fine, as they're going to get started here. In fact, we actually need to put this fact that we are streaming into the content channel. If you could do that for me whilst I go over these players, as Da Vigilante is getting picked by, what's his name? King of Jokes. He's green, not red. I looked for the red name over here, but he's not. He's green. So he's all the way over there. But King of Jokes picking the Da Vigilante. He has got a beautiful, beautiful red-green list here with Nelliclin, Akla, Ixtos, Kozasai, Takali, and Akimo. Probably going to be a lot of heavy flipping, especially with the Da Vigilante coming out, wouldn't you say, for an aggressive team, as we've got the Tamer, Obstinacy, and Right Breach. So we have a mix of everything here. Tamer, very, very valid to be a thing with Da Vigilante coming out, who does a lot of damage. Obstinacy, defeat the same enemy hero twice, going to be great for King of Jokes, and Right Breach, not so great for King of Jokes, but I mean, you can't win every single one of them, can you? Against Smeoz, who's actually bringing red and blue, which is very interesting.
So Smeoz' team is actually called Team America because we've got everybody represented. He actually has all four colors, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But what's really interesting is that he has, for the part of the blue being represented is Freyhill, and the yellow is represented by Cytheru, both of whom King of Jokes has prepared for in terms of easy to counter cards. If you notice that Akimo stepping on the stage for King of Jokes will bring in Doom cards, and then there are also Psychic Shields ready to stop Cytheru from bolting down anybody should he make an appearance on the stage.
Both sides picking their Takali. Interestingly enough, King of Jokes is picking Takali in his left lane, whereas Smeoz is picking it in the right lane. So they are going to sort of like counter each other, which is very good for King of Jokes if he's going to go for this killing strategy, because he is in the right, because he wants to block off his opponent's right breach. As Astrida and Freyhill come out, and Astrida, he's looking to push this breach.
Yep. When you see Astrida on the field, you know what that means, and it's push, push, push.
Absolutely. Push, push, especially with the Takali defense as well, because you can push forward and spawn your minions backwards on top of the pillar, which is always fun. What are we looking at in terms of like modifiers, average modifiers for this deck? Is Smeoz running a lot of modifiers? Because you could very easily run a lot of modifiers with this.
So looking at it briefly, based on what he has selected so far, we're seeing a lot of +1s, some -1s. There is Bewitch in Astrida's deck, and with Akimo stepping onto the field there, we also have a bunch of Strength over Pains in his deck.
Okay. Akimo has not stepped up, and he might not in this game. I mean, we are seeing a Hokusai with Akimo and Akla. Akimo is going to has that 0 armor, which makes him very, very dead against an Akimo-Akla pair. But no, he's bringing it. He is bringing the heat. Go. He wants to fight over this dome and fight over this right breach and just try and probably just win both sides, honestly.
I mean, I'm always an advocate of more violence on the Skytear Dome. Like, don't get me wrong, control games are fascinating to watch, but everyone likes good bloodbath.
Absolutely, I love a bloodbath. Now, Nelliclin and Ixtos are not being brought, and they were two blues, right?
Yes.
So what did he lose?
So interestingly, so he loses Strength of the Pact, two of the Skytear Drains,
Ooh.
some Call of the Pack, and some stone barricades and the guide. By
okay,
not
well,
bringing those two.
okay. I mean, that's very interesting that he's put in... How many stone barricades did he lose?
2 stone from Ixatos.
That is interesting that he put that on Ixatos, considering that Tikali and Akla love pillars as well.
Yes. So
I mean-
Tikali's deck consists of Through the Eyes, Presence, 1 Skytear Drain, 1 Sinkhole, 1 Guide, and then her ultimate.
As we see here with the nice handy mod hood, thank you very much, Tapeworm, that +3 is now being played on the Psychic Shield. It is gone from his deck. Smeoz has discarded that, and he is just mulliganing the 1.
Okay, so there we go. And we have a random +1 popping up as well.
Because Unstoppable gets removed.
Oh, okay, so that's what popped it up. So I am a big fan of these new updates that we've pushed. So once again, we would like to thank Tapeworm publicly for all the great work he's done and continuing to improve the TTS experience for us.
All right, I'm going to now press the refresh button for the last time, and hopefully this is going to... Yep, there we go. The heroes are now all correct, all present and accounted for. We have... I am not a fan of that color for Smeoz, but whatever, you do you, sure. I don't know. Teal heroes, Teal Akimo. I don't think Teal Akimo looks very good in my opinion, honestly. I don't know what your opinion is on this, but Tikali is going to be the first one activated. Go ahead.
My opinion is that King of Jokes either doesn't tint or he gets a really deep green, because otherwise I'm going to mix those all up.
Looks like he's not going to tint, as Tikali makes her standard thing of moving and then worshipping, and she's going to place a pillar.
And I bet you she leads after that.
There's a very good chance that she is going to do that lead, and then next turn it's going to be Frail's going to activate, and she's going to worship Astrida, who's then going to attack the minion.
Yep.
Maybe. Now,
almost certainly.
So something very fun-y that King of Jokes could do right now is he could swing his Akla all the way over to the other side and place a pillar next to Tikali so that she can make use of the other person's pillar without her activating. But that would be a complete waste of actions. You know, you're just doing it for the humor effect, really. But that is worth a lot of points in my book.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can maybe lose the game, but if you win the hearts of the people, did you really lose in the long run?
I feel like the answer is yes, but we're going to go with the opposite because that's how I sleep at night. She did, in fact, lead from the hand. So, now it's King of Jokes to play. Is he just going to make the exact same moves?
I foresee that being likely. Yep, he's clicking on Tikali,
so
moving her over, maybe.
He's clicking her. Yep, alright, cool. And he's going to move. Alright. You know what would be great, Tapeworm, actually? If we also had the move thing come up as well. You know, like we get these +3s and +1s, but if we also got the actual what they're doing in the middle of the screen, that'd also be great. Random
Continue adding to his workload.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to get a full mobile version by the end of the year, I'm sure.
Hey, when COVID prevents you from playing in real, might as well do it virtually.
Okay, I mean, you could go to Royal if you wanted to see if you could. All right, so he's going to play it in the back, which is interesting. So I like this move, right? You don't need to have that pillar there, right? You don't need to have that pillar next to the minions because the other pillar's there already. But what I find utterly fascinating is the fact that he put the pillar right there and not adjacent to Tikali. So he's not interested in using Tikali's ability to heal her this round. Maybe he's planning on setting up for a next round. He's going to move into there.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of people don't really consider whenever they have green on both sides is Tikali can protect minions regardless of whether the pillar was placed by her or the other team.
The card says when a friendly minion adjacent to a pillar would lose HP.
And so therefore, that one pillar protects both of them. But you're right, that is a very interesting position for next turn's pillar. I'm not sure what the advantage of that is. But meanwhile, Freyhill...
Freyhill, she flips the -1, the strength over power. But very interestingly, she did not worship Astrida. So Astrida is going to worship herself. And Freyhill is instead going to move into the dome here. Which, you know, she is in range of a Hokusai. So Hokusai is going to activate. He might be interested in going, moves, worship and then leading or something, and then having a chemo go in with that beautiful attack.
Yep.
It's
Well,
definitely
there's
doing the move part.
There's the skirmish.
Okay,
Oh, no.
never
Going over
mind.
to the other side. All right.
He is going to this side. He is valuing this lane right now, not interested in having a chemo move over there and with Hokusai's -1 armor doing a 4 damage through armor. He is interested instead in just going as hard as he can on this Takali, trying to force some damage onto her immediately, and he did with that +0.
1 damage.
1 damage. How is that 1 damage?
Because Hokusai's flip is 1 plus the flip.
1 plus, right, yeah, I thought he was attacking the minion. Whoops, my mistake. This is why we need this worship to appear in big letters on screen, because I immediately missed this.
You mean the giant green tab that's right above the heroes?
Absolutely, it's got to be either red or blue, otherwise I'm not going to see it.
That's fair. So really, it's King of Jokes for picking the green team instead of the red team.
Absolutely.
Seems like a reasonable argument to me. All right. Blame King of Jokes.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I agree with you completely and utterly, even though it was my idea. So, Akla and Akimo still have yet to activate, but they are the squishier ones on the team. So, of course, you didn't want to activate those early and move them into the dome early, because then they could get peppered with some skirmishes or whatever, as the Strider is now activating. She's going to move. And then get right up in Hokusai's face?
Interesting.
Ooh. That is very interesting.
She's going to do some sort of magic on him, but doesn't
Flips
look like
a +3. That's a very dead creep. Does not use... So, is Takali going to block this? This is 5 damage.
That's the question here. And, I mean, at this early stage in the game, 5 damage is significant. And so we can see King of Jokes is debating, do I want to sacrifice 1/3 of Takali's HP, or do I lose the lane pressure?
If that pillar was next to Takali, he might have been willing to take that, but as it stands, I don't think he can afford to take that. Then again, they're not a high damage team. It's just a chemo. By the way, speaking of which, I figured out why Strider's there. Very smart move by Smeoz. This stops the Akimo move into skirmish, into attack Takali.
Oh, you're right. Good call. Yep. That is actually very smart.
Takali with that -1 armor as well. She's going to have 0 armor, which means that would be a lot of damage. Marked, already going to be taking 5 and a skirmish. 5 and 2 flips is huge.
And if he's holding strength over pain in his hand, that could very easily turn into a frenzied attack and go for a 1-round KO there.
Right, and if he can still get to Estrada if he wants to, but she's not going to be marked. So that's a lot less damage. He takes the 5. He takes the 5.
Ooh, okay.
He decides his opponent, despite playing a chemo, is not going to be able to do enough damage. Do you think he can do enough damage with that deck? Because I still haven't looked at either of them. He ends with a worship. Okay.
With Smeoz's deck, let's see. So we have a chemo, Freyhill, Estrada, Takali. There are 7 -1s.
Oh, that's a lot of -1s.
Correctly. Yeah, if based on who Smeoz has pulled here, there are 7 -1s sitting in his deck. And so that, I mean, even though I know a chemo gets a double flip, but still, that's a pretty high percentage chance.
This is also very strange. I've now looked at the deck and noticed from the players. Both players are playing only 2 Psychic Shield.
Yes.
Fascinating.
I mean, we've been talking as a community about how incredibly busted Psychic Shield is, and you'd think that would be a shoe-in for
Akimo.
Pretty much a 3. Yeah.
Akimo and Akla, they would love to have that 3rd Psychic Shield for all those plus flips, but, you know, both of them decide it could be too much. It could be too much of a dead card in hand. You know, they're expecting their opponents not to play so many power cards that do damage, but Smeoz only has one of those left because he actually discarded one at the start of the game with that mulligan.
So to be fair, from King of Jokes' perspective, really the only thing that he would use a Psychic Shield for, it looks like, would probably be Freyhill trying to heal someone to death. On the other side, it doesn't look like there's much of anything that King of Jokes would use that Smeoz would want to protect against. So mostly we're going to get value out of the flips for the Psychic Shields in this game.
Okay, so the Akla, he did move 4 and then only 1 with the skirmish, but that's still valid if you add the 2 together. And he's going to lead in here. From the deck, so that is a risk. That is a risk. It could be a 0. It could always be a Psychic Shield. But he's going to lead from the deck, and this forces his opponent into a very awkward situation. Smeoz now has to decide if he wants to defend this lane, or move a chemo into the dome and do absolutely nothing with a chemo in this round, or if he wants to go for an attack on someone. Because if he goes into the dome, he's losing that chemo attack. But if he doesn't go into the dome, his opponent's chemo, King of Jokes, can move into the dome and lead.
Guarantee the Dark Vigilante spawns for him.
Absolutely, and that Dark Vigilante is going to be very powerful with King of Jokes' deck.
And so therefore, I think that Smeoz should make the play for the dome. Like you're sacrificing the Akimo round here, but you're preventing the Dark Vigilante from getting to go and do some early rampage, especially with Akla still having the mark. You could simply spawn the Dark Vigilante right next to Akla and continue to and wail on him without having to take the piercing action. Like you can start with the +1, do the attack, and then, well, I guess it doesn't really matter for the third action, but you wouldn't have to take the piercing right away.
What's worth mentioning is that this has all come about because Smeoz is first, right?
Yes.
Depending on where he moves this Akimo, he could potentially move Akimo to the edge, let his opponent's Akimo attack him, and then at the start of next round look to like try and one-shot the Akla, perhaps, because he'll get the Dark Vigilante activation and then his first hero activation.
That's very true. You could set up for a delayed assassination here, and that'll help earn points both for the Tamer and the obstinacy play there.
However, it looks like he's not going to do that. He is not confident in the fact that he could get a kill like that. So that, to me, implies he does not have a frenzy card in his hand.
Yes.
Because if he did, this would be a very nice time to potentially do that, or to bait his opponent's Akimo into going for a cool attack. Because that Akla is up right against the dome, so the Dark Vigilante doesn't even have to move to do his attacks.
Cool. And a lead from hand guarantees Smeoz takes
that dome.
The dome.
He really wants that dome. And now this gets very awkward for King of Jokes, because Dark Vigilante can kill creeps outside of the minion phase, which means that he can kill creeps through to Kali.
Yep.
Sorry, outside the hero's phase. In the minions phase, outside the hero's phase. And this Akimo, thanks to that beautiful Astrida block, is now not in a great position to do much. He can still attack Astrida. That's still going to do some good damage. Or he could go for their Akimo, but then he's not doing anything in that dome other than attacking an Akimo, which, to be fair, you can do a lot of damage attacking an Akimo. Yes. But I feel like he really wants to put this Akimo into lane 2 and just try and push both these lanes, because Smeoz has committed quite a lot into this dome right now. So maybe if you make that investment relatively worthless, you might be able to get something out of that.
Yeah, I mean, King of Jokes definitely has a chance if he puts Akimo over on the, from our perspective, the right lane, his right lane, and forces the push over. Then you could certainly start setting up for a right breach, and depending on what Akla's lead card is, if you use Akimo to kill off one of the minions, you could potentially set the control token against the towers for the start of round 2, which would be very nice.
It looks like he's going to move over to the right breach, as you said. Yep. He's just going to set this up, and he's going to go for some damage. And he's hoping that his opponent can't really push lane 2 as much, because, he didn't go for the... that they're even in lane 2, right? So, double 3s! Boom! That is one dead minion!
That's a feels bad man moment.
Uh-huh. That is 2 of his, 6 3s? Yeah, 2 of his plus, yes. His 6 plus 3s. You know, they've just added 1 extra card. It's just Psychic Shield. They have 4 plus Psychic Shields. 4 plus 2, still quite difficult maths, let's be honest.
It's true. Got to watch out for those very basic maths.
Because, I mean, that's 6. And you know what he just flipped? 2 3s, which, add up to 6. So if we see another 6, this is cursed. As we
Right,
see,
well, there's
a lead value of 5, not 6, so we're all good.
But nevertheless, the minion or the control tower or the control token is now pressed right up against that tower, which means Smeoz has to react to this.
Right. And I mean, his Rail and Akimo are definitely in position for that, but defending against that might leave that dome vulnerable. This is the whole power of being second in this situation. As in lane 2, -1, but it's a 3, and ooh, it's also a 3, but it's sinkhole, which is potentially more valuable. But thank you, the -1. Yep. So even, completely even split, and I assume he's gonna have to spawn his minions forward to make up for this pillar, or he could spawn them backwards into the pillar that he's placed. Sure,
that makes sense. Yeah, you can still protect. Yep, put it.
There's
up there.
No reason not to put your hero. There's no reason really not to put your minions forward, though, right? Like, yeah, who cares?
Protected by a pillar either way. So,
the only awkward part here is that if his opponent breaks the pillar right now,
that's fair.
You can't place another pillar that's going to protect all of it. Dark Vigilante's coming out. He's thinking where he wants to place this. He might be thinking of killing some creeps here. Because he could theoretically kill a creep. He could theoretically kill 2 creeps and kill his own pillar. You can't kill your own pillar. He could kill the enemy's pillar by spawning there and then attack 2 creeps.
Yes.
Not sure if that would be worthwhile, because Tikali can just always, re-worship, but... Alright, he's gonna go for the something. The attack.
See a +1?
Nope, the pierce. He went for the pierce skirmish and moved forward 1 space. Makes sense, because you want to pierce before you attack, because Tikali has 1 armor. Goes to the attack. Alright, that's another 3. Or 2. Maybe he's skirmishing away.
He did do the +1.
Did he...
He would have had to have, yeah, because the Tikali would have had 1 armor, and so then. Wait, that is, yeah.
Okay. He did the +1 skirmish. Now he's attacking the pillar. Okay, and he gets the -1 on that one, so that's amazing for him.
All right,
although he probably would have liked to draw that card.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Interesting.
Interesting. 1 second, I'm going to go close my window, so cover for me.
All right. So, not necessarily what we would have expected. We thought we might see a little bit more aggression from the Dark Vigilante, but still not a bad usage of it. It does allow some tactical maneuvering. It does prevent Tikali from being able to use that pillar in order to heal herself during this round. Very useful if you're going to try and set up for a delayed KO, maybe either with the hero or with controlling the Dark Vigilante in the second round. But as we started here, we're going to start off with some attacking. Astrida doing Astrida things. Kill off a minion, sacrifice 2 HP, spawn a new minion. So Smeoz is looking to set his mark there in lane 2.
Killing that pillar was way more valuable than I originally thought, because, he gets the first turn. So his opponent cannot spawn that pillar to defend the minion unless he had the stone barricade, which we know he doesn't, because he's running those on Ixotosk.
And Ixotosk has been benched. All right, then Astrida hides in the grove because she is a coward, as we well know.
The chat is demanding I change this marker. I must change this marker. Apparently, there we go. Now it's round 2. Now I can go back to my beautiful, beautiful grey, where I'm indecisive about everything.
Fair enough.
Bewitch. Wow, what a good card. Alright, that defeats a minion straight up, spawns another one. So now there is 6 minions here against 2. Just like that, the tides have massively turned.
And a lead from the deck to wrap things up.
Now this does give some targets that aren't covered by a pillar. But, I mean... He can afford to lead from this deck with how many more heroes how many more control he has there. So
and flipping through here, there's a reason. Well, maybe not, because all of those, depending on what's in his hand, there's a reasonably good chance that that's a 2 or a 3 lead there from the deck.
I'm just going to press this refresh button. It still says 1 at top. That's interesting, despite the fact that it's now around 2. Alright, so, now the thing is, Takali no longer has to stay in this lane, right?
Right.
She can move out, because this is going to be a hard sell to actually try and defend this. They can still defend this. If they keep using 2 heroes, both Takali and Hokusai, they can defend this. But this does free up Smeoz to put Takali in the dome and Frail and Akimo to protect against their own right breach. As looks like Takali moves into the cover hex. That's the word. I wanted to say trees, and that would have been correct, but then I wanted to do the correct terminology as she attacks that minion and kills it.
We also see another lead from deck there. All right, lot of faith in the deck leads here.
Leaving this entirely up to chance. I mean, if he loses this one, it's not the worst thing in the world, because it can still has to take another turn to get to the tower. But he is just committing.
Yep, Smeoz is going for the all-in play here, so we might actually see a victory by right breach.
He is deciding to place that final pillar. Well, he's thinking about it now, but he wants to place that. Yeah, he's placing that final pillar. This is going to be 5 protected minions now. You're not going to be able to defend this. I hope for King of Jokes' sake, he has Hokusai's ultimate in hand for next turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, even before that pillar came down, if he does not have the Supernova Hokusai's ultimate ready. Wait, what? Oh, we're just repositioning minions. Okay. If he does not have Supernova ready or draws it, this is going to be a very, very.
That was not a reposition, by the way. He flipped a +3 on the attack again, and this time he did not take the 5 damage.
Oh my!
Yeah. These minions are being super dead minions.
Can't take that damage. His Takali is down to 8 hit points.
If Jokes wins the dome, Smeoz wins the dome again, which he's got a decent chance of it right now with the position of the board. He could kill Takali, right? If Takali has taken 5 damage.
I mean, even without her taking the 5 damage, there's a chance that the Dark Vigilante will still kill Takali.
Pretty low, but there is a chance. I mean, in my +2s deck, Dark Vigilante typically does 7, and she's at 8, so barely.
All right, so smack her once with somebody during the round, and then DV finishes the job.
Yeah, but you don't really have anyone to smack her with. Oh god, I just said that out loud. Right, so Estrada and Takali are both activated is the problem, right?
Right.
So you'd have to bring in Frail or Akimo, and those two I think want to be defending the other lane or sticking into the dome. I don't think they're interested in going after a Takali right now.
Nah, I think control of the dome and possible. You might want to send one person over just to help a little bit with Control Zone 1, since it is pressed against the tower right now. You don't want to lose to right breach before you get to set your plan off in motion.
Yeah, I mean there is the advantage to King of Jokes' position in that he already has pushed the token up,
and that it's Control Zone 1, so it'll resolve first.
Yeah. I mean, King of Jokes, he was definitely going to go for the Tamer or Obstinacy, but, I mean, he's got the option of just going for his own right breach, and he'll take it.
Looks like we have some thinking going on. Wow.
So he declared a Hokusai activation. What's he thinking of doing with this Hokusai? He could always move in and just try and hit one of them. Does he dare just walk out of this and just go and, like, moves in and worships against a Frail or something for an Akimo setup?
I was gonna say, I mean, I think he might want to attack the minion just to try and start getting Smeoz's Takali to take some damage. Well, he's just gonna go straight for the dome play. All right,
and he's gonna move backwards.
Interesting. Normally the tank doesn't retreat. Okay, there we go.
I suspect this is because he's a tank, so it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I suspect it's because he's thinking to himself, well, if he skirmishes towards me, he can't then skirmish out of the dome and go for a lead.
That does make some sense.
Hokusai has 2 armor, so I'm not sure how much sense it makes, but it makes some sense. So Hokusai is going to mark this Akimo. So Akimo's the target, not Frail here. I mean, Frail has that self-healing, so she's a bit harder to kill.
Yep. And 2 damage from the Purifying Flame will bring Hokusai to 14 and Akimo to 16. Interesting. And a lead from the deck again. Okay.
Oh, these deck leads, I mean, they do definitely apply some pressure onto Smeoz, but this is quite a risk if Smeoz just matches deck lead for deck lead. As he activates Frail, I assume Frail, well, if she okay, she's going to leave the dome, which then leaves Akimo open to being hit by a 5 attack Akimo next round. Because Akimo can move in and attack and then lead with a card from hand just to guarantee that.
Yeah. But it seems that Freyhill is being used to do that minion control over there. That does make sense. She now contributes to the control zone. You've killed off a minion, so you've changed it by 2, making sure that your tower, if it gets damaged, is only going to take a small amount.
Now, he has put Frail as far back as he can while still being within range of this control token, but that is still within range of an Akimo. Akimo can move and then worship up to Frail and attack her still.
So
if he wants to go for this right breach instead, that would be a lot of damage.
Especially, again, if he's got Strength Over Pain in his hand, then it might be time to try and take Freyhill out in one fell swoop.
The Freyhill leads from the deck. Okay. A lot of deck leading. So much deck leading.
Indeed. So, interesting fact, he actually doesn't have Strength Over Pain. His choice of action to get Frenzy is actually Burning Rage.
Which, I approve of that, honestly. I think Strength Over Pain is overrated, and Burning Rage is underrated in comparison.
Well,
and it is turn 2, so you can play those.
Yeah. So we'll see what Akimo chooses to do whenever it's his turn. As of right now, though, King of Jokes still has a choice between Akla and Akimo. He may just wait to see what Smeoz does with his Akimo before King of Jokes sends his Akimo into the battlefield. But that would then require Akla to be exposed.
Yeah, Akla getting close could lead to an Akimo going for a skirmish and attack over there. In which case, it's very good for Hokusai that he decided to lead from deck and not from hand. I would like to point out in this brief interlude that we have managed to go up to 3 likes on this stream so far. We're up to 3 likes, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I am going to like this as Skytear. I have liked it. We're at 4 likes in this stream. Fantastic. King of Jokes is now going to move Akimo into the dome.
All right. So we're going for some Akimo versus Akimo dueling here.
All right. He is going to threaten this Akimo, and then he's going to be like, if you leave this dome, my Akla might not even go for the push on this. He might just attack you. Because it is obstinacy at the end of the day. He just needs to kill one guy twice. So if he can get an Akimo off the board this round, Akimo's coming back round 4. You know, I mean, that's reasonable. He's popping the flux. Akimo's plopping the flux for the chasm.
Okay.
All right. Chasm is played into that hex because you can target the hex, you can target the hex, just not the hero inside the hex in the cover hex. And he's going to push his own Akimo out and push that Akimo away. That'll
at least prevent Akimo from dealing a bunch of damage to Akimo, but that still means that Akimo can later then go after Akimo, right?
Right, but then Akimo can go after Akimo, and that makes that really awkward because Akimo on Akimo, then Akimo, and then Ak.
And we have no idea who is who at this point.
So he's going to skirmish out of the dome, I presume? Yeah.
There it is. And just provide a little bit more power towards Control Zone 1.
Now what this means, though, is that if Akimo... So if his opponent's Akimo, if Tealo... Tealo?
There it is. I like Tealo.
Tealo. All right, so if Tealo moves over to this to destroy some minions, then that means Akla has free reign to attack him because Hokusai is locking up this dome, and that's his last character.
Yep. All right. Well, there we go. We've got some.
And this is exactly what's happening. As Tealo attacks Akimo, and Jokes is thinking he might have a dodge or something.
He might have slides. So Hokusai is carrying a slide card, and so Akimo could channel that since Akimo is also red-green.
He's also got 3 Crawling Darkness, which might be more likely. But then again, you would probably just flat out play Crawling Darkness immediately in this situation. This isn't a chemo going after you after all. If you disarm him, you're looking pretty. But he's thinking real hard about this. What else could he have? What else could he have that's making him think?
Well, let's see, Skytear Drain is not a reaction, although that wouldn't matter here anyways. Nothing else that's a
Doom. So what Doom would do? Doom would prevent a Strength over Pain or Burning Rage play.
Well, it wouldn't prevent... Slide. Okay, it is Slide. All right, very good. So, there we go.
Well, yeah, Doom would prevent it if he has the card in hand. It would stop it for the turn. Right? If he was expecting that. But there is Slide. It's called Terremoto, but it's Slide. It pushes the enemy 1 hex.
Which is enough.
Which is enough. That blocks out that Akimo. You see, this is why I rate Akimo. He's like B tier, C tier in those tier lists, man. He's not very good. You can stop him almost immediately, you know? It's Tilo, poor Tilo. I mean, Tilo might be rated a bit... Well, okay, to me, Tilo's rated lower. You know, I've got to admit, Tilo, you're rated lower because you're teal, and I don't like that.
Such objective standards for your ratings, really.
Hey, have I ever been wrong ever in my life? I rest my case.
Do you really want me to answer that?
I rest my case.
Viewers, tell us in the chat. Should RG answer that question honestly while we're all streaming, and we can get that answer on record?
Too late. I have already said I rest my case. That is the end of the conversation. I have to have the conversation ended.
This is not a Skytear turn where I pass priority and then you make a statement and then that's the end of the chain here. Like, this keeps going.
You really think you have a reaction with...
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
All right, we're just going to change this conversation. This has gone so far down.
He is led from the deck. He is going for that double chance of the Frail lead. Frail's led from the deck. Akimo's led from the deck. That's a pretty good chance of hitting a 3 now.
Yeah, and that would be really useful because as we can see here, the tension in Control Zone 1 is really starting to heat up here. We've got a lot of congestion going on. Smeoz desperately trying to defend, whereas King of Jokes is now getting set up to attack on it. Here we go. Akla is going to now activate. We'll see what Akla does. Akla can't actually get to Akimo because Akimo has been Tealmo has been pushed into a cover hex that he does not have vision of.
You'd think he'd have pushed him away from the cover hex, but he pushed him into the cover hex. As that creep now dies to a double +2. There we go. And one thing that is worth mentioning is that in terms of how players have managed their hands, Smeoz has 4 cards in hand with the maximum of 6. King of Jokes has 5, so if King of Jokes doesn't lead here, which I suspect he will, but if he doesn't lead here, he's going to overdraw for next turn.
Yeah, you can see his hands hovering over his hand right now. His hand is hovering over his hand. Oh boy. But anyways, it looks like he's either planning to play something or lead from the hand as his final action. So we'll see.
Just drop that hand and go for a clap.
Oh, okay, here we go. We've got
Rage. So he did, in fact, have a Frenzy card for that Akimo. So good thing on that Chasm stopping that Akimo attacking Akimo.
Yes.
As he kills that second creep. Now, generally, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see a Frenzy being used to kill a creep. It could kill heroes. But it's killing a creep that's on the right breach, which is going to win you the game.
And so here's the thing. Like, he's going to lead now. So Freyhill led from the deck. So right now you've got 2+ whatever Freyhill popped on the deck versus 4+ whatever the lead action from Akla turns out to be. If Akla spins out a 3 and Smeoz got really unlucky, this could just possibly be game right here.
It'd have to be a 3 and a 0, but yes.
Which is possible.
I don't think it is. I don't think he runs enough zeros. Because that is both Akimo and Freyhill leading here. And he's used up a Psychic Shield this game so far.
Oh, you're right. Okay, never mind. So, I missed the Akimo lead from him. Yep.
One of them's going to be a 1, at least.
At minimum, yeah. So the tower will certainly take some damage. Okay, so the tower is probably going to take damage.
Right, it's going to take at least 2. It's probably going to take 2 damage. Best case scenario for Smeoz is taking 2 here. Oh, does not hit a 3.
Okay, so a 2-point lead. All right.
So 3 damage is going to be dealt instead to this tower 1. That is...
Okay.
You know, it's not that difficult to get 2 damage onto a tower there, you know, and that's very worrying. Lane 2, I mean, King of Jokes has basically lost lane 2, but he's got a lot of pressure being applied into this lane 1. I wouldn't be surprised, even, if he puts this Dark Vigilante in and just has the Dark Vigilante kill the 2 creeps.
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well. Because with Hokusai sitting in the dome uncontested, we know how lane 3 resolves here. Mm-hmm. And at this point, really, you don't even need to worry about your lane 2, right? Because if you can basically just send all 4 of your people at lane 1. If you get a 3 lead card there, unless Smeoz comes up with some strength of the packs here or something, which he does not actually have. I think you just basically at this point, if you're King of Jokes, you just send everyone in siege lane 1 and you win next round. If you use Dark Vigilante to kill off the minions, then it's basically you can just destroy the game.
There goes Akimo ult. That's good. That's good information. Akimo is not going to have that ultimate as this lane 2 gets pushed down. But the thing is as well, right? Like, look at where Smeoz has placed his heroes. He went for the safe far side, which honestly, the safe far side to me is a lot riskier than the not safe near side of the dome, because now there is no possible way. He needs haste, he needs fast in order to get an Astrider over to that lane to actually help it. Mm-hmm. He does not have enough movement to get inside that control token 1 area of influence, which could be a massive, massive problem for him. Because there's going to be 3 heroes against 2. If the Dark Vigilante just kills the 2 creeps, ooh.
And the Dark Vigilante, I don't think the Dark Vigilante can get to the 1 though. Unless
so that is what I would say. So I don't think his plan is to kill. Okay, he wants to leave it open. Okay, I was gonna say he could have always just placed it next to the Nexus, right? You can always spawn it next to the Nexus instead. But I guess his plan wasn't to go for the killing all the creeps here, and instead going for an Akimo or something. Because if you place the minion on the other side, then you could spawn the Dark Vigilante at the Nexus, and then you could hit both creeps. As it stands, you can only hit one of these creeps.
Right.
But he could always kill a creep, move, and then kill another creep, but you wasted an action point at this point.
Right. Well, what I think he can do is if he uses the first skirmish to kill the minion, moves 2, and then skirmishes into range to hit Akimo, and then he can dump the 3rd action as an attack against Akimo.
Is that a move? Did he move there?
That is a move. That is not what I would have done, but okay, that's fair.
Right.
Interesting. So that's 1, 2, 3 moves, and we're going on to round 3.
So I will say here is a good point about this creep being here. This creep being on the left of the lane of the 1 is that it blocks a Frail skirmish. So Frail can't skirmish over to hit Akla and then attack him. Assuming, well, I mean, is Akla in range anyway? 1, 2, 3. No, he's not in range anyway.
Nope.
But
Akimo,
right? Yeah, the other Akimo would have to move. No.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. No, Frail only needs to move 1 to hit Akimo. But if Hokusai moves in front of Frail, then Frail can't skirmish. But then he was going to block that anyway. He didn't need the minion there, and that was the case because he could have blocked anyway because the Dark Vigilante is in a great spot to block Frail if Hokusai joins in. In fact, I would have. Well, you can't. I was going to say, I would have moved the Dark Vigilante over to that spot in front of Frail between her and Akimo, but he couldn't. He had to move then attack.
Right.
He could have attacked, moved, and then skirmished, but he did that in the wrong order, and I think only then realized that you couldn't skirmish through minions or something.
Right. All right, so the question is then, does Smeoz see what's coming, and will he activate Freyhill first to try and get her to have a better positioning?
I mean, it's worrying. It's worrying if you leave your Freyhill next to the dome is the only problem. Because that is a sinkhole away from being pushed out of lane 1.
That's very true. And there is a sinkhole. Actually, it looks like there are 2 sinkholes, one from Hokusai, one from Takali.
I definitely remember seeing one that had been.
You're right. We did use one because you talked about that, and you said that it would be more useful later. Okay, so we know that there's
Supernova
one
has
down.
not been seen. No. But so Hokusai could still if he has that ult, he could just go over and defend lane 2, right? He could just be like, no, I'll play this safe. I'm pretty sure I can win lane 1. I'll just defend lane 2 and then win lane 1 on the next round.
Yep.
But I mean, it's looking real dangerous, really, really dangerous for for Smeoz to defend that lane 1 right now. He's going to need a Call of the Pack or a Bewitch. He does play those, right? I mean, we've seen the Bewitch. He plays Bewitch.
He's got 1 Bewitch left.
Okay. If he gets a Bewitch out, then he could potentially defend this. It's only 2 health. Only 2 health.
So the... Okay. Oh, so a chemo's going. So here's the thing, like you mentioned. If he drives in after Teal Chemo moves, if a Chemo marches down, or if Hokusai goes to lane 1 and blocks Freyhill, she'll have to blow at least 2 actions in order to get in range to be able to use that Bewitch.
Right, that is a very, very valid point.
Because you have to be adjacent.
And that is not what you'd want to do. Okay, Smeoz is killing the creep.
That makes sense.
That makes sense for Smeoz. Doesn't make sense for Joker to have placed it there, but whatever. Yeah, sinkhole. Boom, dead. Alright, so that's a sinkhole he doesn't have to worry about. That's one more sinkhole that Joker doesn't have to worry about. Sinkholes are key in this game right now.
Yep. And so that makes 2 sinkholes, I think, from Smeoz.
Mm-hmm. Does he play 3 or does he only play 2?
He
plays 3. He plays 3. You play 3 sinkholes, you don't play 3 psychic shields. I see how it is. You didn't want to play a bloodbath. You don't want to play a bloodbath. This is what this gets you. You're losing your tower before they lose theirs. As he moves.
All right, so Teal Chemo going in for the interesting positioning here. I mean, I guess it this way.
Strength over pain. Okay.
Okay, so he's going. Okay, so he's just going to go and cut down more minions. Okay,
he
that's
could have
fair.
gone. He could have gone into the cover hex, but he decided not to. He's just going to kill some more minions. You know, Akla has been this guy who's like he's very squishy. Akimo could have potentially gone for some damage here, but he realizes he understands the risk right now, and he needs to get every minion off that board he can.
Did Akimo sacrifice the 2 HP for using Strength Over Pain? Because he took 2 damage from Hokusai's Armor Melter earlier marked, so we should...
Alright, there we go.
Okay, that's
being called. Okay, so... I mean, could he have another one? If you can strength over pain, just kill all the minions, you're in a pretty decent position.
Well, didn't we change the frenzy rules at this point, or are we still keeping?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Ugh, ruining all the fun. He's gonna skirmish back. Okay, why? What is it about that hex? What is it about that hex? To me, that's just you're making it harder for Frail to be in there. Well, what is it about that hex?
Right.
Do you see something about that hex?
I don't. But then again, as we both know, us missing things involving sinkholes is
okay.
A very common position to be in.
So one thing that he's now out of range of Akla. Okay.
Yes.
But if he wanted to be there, why didn't he just move there in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps this was a misplay and he realizes too late that he should have moved there. But to me, you just would have led in that spot, right?
Right. Because so here's the thing. Freyhill is range 3, right? So if King of Jokes never mind. He's only got 1 slide, so that won't be an issue.
He could always like double sinkhole.
Yeah, he could. Well, no, because the 3rd sinkhole is in Nelliclin's deck, and
okay, so we're not going to see that disgusting play then. Fine. Yeah, because I feel like this might be a situation where you would want to lead from hand with a 3 with both of your characters. Because if one of them just dies, you've still got the other one on backup. Right now, what this has done is this has said, okay, Freyhill is now the target because she's the only one that's going to be able to lead in this area. And Hokusai can come in and he can burn her. Akimo can come in, he can burn her. This could be a dead Freyhill.
Yeah, and a dead Freyhill here would absolutely help swing the control position.
A dead Freyhill would just win King the game right here.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have to lead. Because he would just have the same amount. He would have more heroes and minions.
You're right, because Akimo didn't lead. So Akimo right now, Smeoz's total control is 2. And so if Freyhill dies, that means that at best he gets one, because there is no conceivable way for either Astrida or Takali to get over and influence Control Zone 1. So yeah, killing Freyhill should actually just be King of Jokes' objective, and that guarantees the win.
Yeah, and if you put Hokusai, next to the Dark Vigilante and in front of Freyhill, Hokusai is covering a lot of area with his ability. And Freyhill won't be able to get out of the way of that. So then Akimo can later mark her, and she'll have that -1 armor.
And also, don't forget that whenever I guess it doesn't matter because the Hokusai passive would trigger anyways, but marked heroes take piercing damage from Supernova, but given that she'd be down to 0 armor anyways from being in range of Hokusai, that's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, that's one of those weird things about that thing. All right, so he's going to activate Takali. Okay. So I think he's hoping that Freyhill will activate first. He does go last, but he's going to have to activate Hokusai, Akimo, or Akla before Freyhill.
Right. So the only thing that I could see Smeoz having is a bunch of the heal cards in hand. And so if he reacts with like a multi-nourisher, that might keep Freyhill alive. But again, King of Jokes is prepared with that. He's got Doom. And so if he has either Akimo or Hokusai in range, Doom's going to come out. There will be no healing for the Mistress of Withering.
That is a great rhyme.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, so this is what we in the Star Wars Destiny community call durdling. This is where you make...
Explain that?
Huh?
No, I was just asking. I have no idea what that meant, so if you would explain that, please.
So, durdling is the process where you take actions that you're going to take where what your opponent does doesn't really matter. You're just going to take these actions, and you're going to do these things, and you're just going to take actions that kind of just stall out the game state and force your opponent to make a move first so you can react. So that's what he did with his Takali, in the hopes that his opponent would react by moving Freyhill, right? Because this is safe. However, King of Jokes has double durdlers here with this Astrida and this Takali. And this Takali is going to move in and skirmish in and probably just take the dome. Because there's nothing Takali can do to defend lane 1, right?
Correct.
So this is very much a durdle.
Yeah, unless we're going to see some very, very strange sinkhole shenanigans, which would be, I mean, this would have to be an exercise in very careful positional management. I mean, I still don't think there's any way to get.
I mean, he could always have something like another chasm to just push Takali into the lane 1.
No, actually, he can't. He's only got 1 chasm.
Oh,
Astrida's only carried 1, so there is no more chasms coming out.
He could have sinkholed his own heroes and got them in there, maybe, but he didn't move close enough for that to be a thing. Why? But that has got to give you some serious pause. Takali in nowhere near any of the control tokens has led. This could be a complete and utter bluff from Smeoz.
I mean,
Smeoz can't do anything with Takali anyway, but it makes you wonder.
I mean, that's what it has to be. Like, you and I know through the magic of the deck list that, strictly speaking, there's no way to... Hold on. Did Smeoz play 1 or 2 sinkholes? We've seen 2 sinkholes from him, right?
I don't know.
Because if we haven't seen... I know we saw the 1, but if we have not seen 2, what he could potentially do is have Takali sinkhole herself 1 over, and then have Freyhill sinkhole and grab her and pull her over the white line and put her into influence. That's the only thing that I can see coming, but I don't know if we've seen 1 or 2 sinkholes.
Oh. Chat has told us, like the creator of the game has told us, no, Hokusai used his sinkhole to push Takali out. Hokusai played a sinkhole. Not sure how much I agree with that, honestly. Because surely you could sinkhole to counter a sinkhole. At the end of the round and push Takali back out if she pushed in. But is he really... unless he's really thinking he can get the dome here and also win on lane 1, But then that's kind of redundant.
Right. I mean, because we won't even get to the dome because as soon as you win lane 1 by 2 or more points, then the game ends.
Right, and it's a lot less chance now that he's going to lose lane 2.
Right.
But there's still a chance he could lose lane 2. The Streeter still hasn't activated. She could still kill a minion and then lead. Takali did activate and she led from deck, so it could still be enough. But we are seeing this Arkla. He has attacked the Akimo. It's the most dirtily of the 3 plays that he had left. Because the Hokusai and Akimo, if he can save that action point of Akimo having to worship the Freyhol, then that means he can do both a skirmish and an attack with him. But Smeoz is not going to let that happen. He's going to have Freyhol activate last. And that way she gets her healing off with her own worship, and she gets to clear their worship, right?
Right.
And so long as Freyhol just stands there and doesn't actually do anything, she won't be pushed out from a sinkhole or anything like that.
All right, so I switched over to Team Red so I can do some grave inspection here. Smeoz has in fact only played one sink. Oh no, there's the second one. Yeah, he's played the second sinkhole. So
right.
So there's no way for Takali to get over.
Estrida is with her people. She is now in the middle of everything. They are loving her. She's putting on a concert. It's great, and she's just hoping that the rest of her team succeeds in whatever they're doing. As she's just over here singing minions to death. That's what I'm imagining right now.
I mean, that's about all she's going to be able to do.
I mean, she has a bow, but her arrows are like... She actually sings the arrows, right? They're actually notes, and she shoots notes, right? That feels like the sort of power a mermaid would have, right?
Sure. I don't know much about mermaid lore, so I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, okay, great. Fantastic. Because if you had challenged me on that, I would have had nothing to come back with. I had no evidence to support my case.
Well, in that case, let me undo my last action here.
Evidence number 1.
If we take a look at Greek mythology, the story of Oedipus on... Wait, no, that's not what we want to reference. All right, we're going to move on now. So,
Odysseus verse 3, column 4.
From the John Rothy translation... Oh my God, we had that once when I remember back when I was in high school, and we were examining the Divine Comedy, and one person had one translation and one person had some other person's translation, because I guess they lost their copy of the book or whatever, and so the works had slightly different translations, since of course the Divine Comedy was originally Italian, and they got into such a huge fight over it that the teacher had to be like, okay guys, this is the point of translation. Things aren't always literally the same. Small differences can happen. Meanwhile, speaking of small differences, Hokusai is about to make a big difference as he swings over into Control Zone 1, and he's going after Teal'c.
Wow. So, interesting thing with fighting Teal'c there is that he did not move and attack. He could have attacked, but instead he moved, worshipped, and skirmished. I don't get that. Why wouldn't you attack unless you're really worried? I guess he must be really worried about this final sinkhole. He's just trying to apply as much pressure to hold. Okay, presence. That is what you need right now.
Aha!
It's not enough, but that's what you need right now. If you presence, then what happens is that you're equivalent to 2 heroes. So that way, 2 heroes against 3, they're equal, but you still have to deal with the 2 minions. But if you kill 1 minion, then you will survive.
Correct. And so we have a lead from the deck, so we're going to assume, since the prediction came through, we assume that is a 3.
It must be. So now, I bet Jokes is kicking himself that he didn't attack Akimo. Because he needs Akimo dead now to win.
Yeah. And so at this point, killing Freyhil doesn't seem as likely because she's not marked.
You need to get 1 more control point. You need to rest 1 point away from Smeoz here. And that 11 HP Akimo is that point.
Oh boy.
Let's see if he manages to do it.
Well,
He moves, doesn't skirmish, he moves.
Go. Chemo going to target Teal Chemo.
He can't be shoved or anything like that in there. He can just, if something's going to happen, it's going to be having to happen to Chemo.
Oh, there's the ice wall.
The Takali ice wall. Nice.
Okay. So Takali was in fact able to actually do something. Very nice from Smeoz.
Yeah, absolutely. That just ruins King of Jokes' plans right there.
Yep.
And he's already moved. You see, if he just skirmished, he could move back into the dome and win the dome at least.
Yep. And then you would have been able to do some Dark Vigilante work. But as it stands, nope.
Mm-hmm. Do some Dark Vigilante work and hope that you can maybe get the Sakimo low enough to kill him so the next round you can still kill that tower. But, I mean, that ice wall is huge.
All right, so at this point, do you just lead with... So Smeoz has 5 control points versus 4 for King of Jokes. Do you just try and lead and chip the tower a little bit here?
Well, Akla's already led.
Oh, you're right. Akla did lead. Okay, never mind then.
It looks like they're ending it. Or something. They pinged the Estrida.
Okay.
But yeah, so if he'd have skirmished instead, he would have had the ability to move into the dome. He wouldn't have done any damage to the tower, but he would have got the Dark Vigilante, which could have softened up the Sakimo a bit. And assuming he didn't die to lane 2, which they're thinking right now that he's won lane 2. If we actually do the maths, that is 5 minions, no matter... That is 5 minions, but there's 5 minion advantage, but there is that minion there, so he might survive. He can survive in lane 2 right now.
Yeah. This is going to be close.
And winning that Dark Vigilante would have been huge, because that could have killed the 2 creeps again. As it stands, without a Dark Vigilante, he's still in a pretty strong spot. But, I mean, blue is blue. They might be able to defend this once they put their 3rd hero in there. So this is quite the situation right now. What is Akimo going to do with his last action?
I mean, you can't... Skirmish doesn't do you much. I mean, you can take over the cover hex and reposition. Nope, looks like we're just going to pass. And the pre-healed nourish.
I don't know why you wouldn't at least skirmish just to flip a card. Wait, how many cards? He has 2 cards left in the deck. He might be wanting to draw both of those.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there we go. Leads from each of them means that only 1 tower point. Smeoz hanging in there by a hair and 1 tower hit.
If he wants to draw those cards, that's what he was doing. He was keeping as many cards in his deck as possible because he was hoping to draw the Hokusai ult. The Hokusai ult would have been huge.
Yeah, that would have easily cleared it. But as it stands, so that's a 3-3 lead for both of them. Massive minion takeover here, so that's going to be...
He lives. He lives with 1.
4 damage?
1 minion, 4 damage.
Oh my god, both towers are on 1 hit point!
At least, whoops, press spacebar, at least with the lead from 3 and the loss of the ultimate, at least Takali saved the tower.
Yes.
Because if that was not a 3, that was game.
Yep. Okay.
Need to spawn minions in lane 1.
Your tower is in fact still alive. Which I guess the game would be over if it wasn't, since that would be right breach for Smeoz. Okay, there we go.
Okay, yeah, he's placing his minions. You can't place it there.
Yeah, there's 2 open spots that the minion can go.
I have the message ready if he doesn't notice. He's not noticing.
Oh, yep, you can't. Yeah, I was gonna say there's 2 spots that the hex have open. I would specify in control zone 1.
I think that's pretty. I think that's good enough. They need to do the buddy system with the white minions.
All right. Yep. There we go. All right. We're moving them into place.
It's just because they were in the middle of the hex, right? That's what
Yes.
King of Jokes. King of Jokes is just going to say, Smeoz, he put his minions in the middle of the hex, so I had no way to fit, and they weren't willing to budge over. So what could he possibly have done?
Remember, sharing is caring.
And caring is half the battle.
It's true. Although, given that we're in COVID, do we really want to be sharing our space with others at this time? Now we have a philosophical dilemma to debate during turn 4.
Well, who talked about space? Because this was just sharing in general, right? Like it's like thoughts and prayers. You can say I'm sharing with you without actually doing anything, right? Like, hey, my house is open to anyone who wants to come, knowing full well that I've left the door locked.
That's true. And
I don't have a house as well. That's the other problem with that.
That might be the bigger of the two, then, don't you think?
If someone could share their house with me, I'd be quite grateful. So.
Okay, all right. Well, we've got the second. We've got the next set of minions set in Control Zone 2. Each tower has 1 hit point, which means this is going to become a battle of the Smeoz hold off lane 1, and then. So here's the thing. Smeoz has to simply hold off lane 1 because there's absolutely, with Supernova gone, there's absolutely no way to clear that amount of minions off of Control Zone 2 from King of Jokes. He doesn't have Dragon Punch.
Mm-hmm.
I lied. He has 1 Dragon
We have
Punch.
seen it flipped, but, he's going to flip over his deck and draw in a second, I think.
Yeah. So it's unlikely that he will. I can't see a situation because he doesn't have any draw cards. So I don't see how he gets Dragon Punch. But even with Dragon Punch, the positioning of the minions makes it such that you won't be able to clear enough out. And so therefore...
you don't have anyone who could even get over there in the first place. Let's not kid ourselves. There's nothing you can do about that line.
Well, Akla himself could use the Dragon Punch.
How would he get there? You're talking about defending lane 2, right?
Yeah.
How would Akla get over there?
King of Jokes is Akla is sitting in the cover hex right next to the control point, isn't he? I'm sorry, not Akla. That's Takali. Oops. Whoops. Never mind. Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. I apologize. That's Takali that I'm looking at, not Akla. And Takali cannot use Dragon Punch. So never mind. Yeah. So if King of Jokes does not win lane 1, this game is over. Uh-oh. All right, so now that Game Slayer is no longer able to defend himself, it's now time for me to tell you all of the dark secrets that I've learned. That's true. I should probably back up. So apparently Game Slayer's microphone is out, which means that he's
There we go.
going
I got
on
it.
right
I got
now.
it. You did not spend your time wisely, my friend.
I've been bamboozled and cheated out of an opportunity to slander and belittle him without any chance of him responding or defending himself.
King of Jokes disconnected. My computer went real weird for a second, and then OBS stopped noticing my microphone, so I had to turn it off of the device and then turn it back onto that device. And in that time, I told RG to talk. And so he spent all that time having to explain why I couldn't talk, so he wasn't allowed to do his thing.
True. It's like I almost wonder because I know you guys have the whole European Union thing. Like, is that not only just for currency but for like internet connection as well? So if one of you fails out, then everybody starts failing. Is that how that works?
Well, yes, everything goes through London after all.
Yeah, well, London is really the only city in England. I've heard that there's London and then countryside.
You're not wrong if you're going by our standards, European standards. Americans, they call places cities when it's got 12 people in it.
Yes.
You guys don't have towns,
South.
you just have cities.
No, see, here's the thing though. Those are mostly people from the South, and well, Southern people are very special. We appreciate them greatly, but they have some very strange definitions.
You're really bringing up the Confederacy again.
I wasn't going to go anywhere near that. I was just saying.
I'm allowed to joke about it because I am not American.
That's fair. I mean, we can go and talk about the Boston Tea Party too while we're at this.
Absolutely, because it was only the rich people that were punished for that.
Exactly. And speaking of which, though, like I know I make jokes about you having tea time, but like I am a fan of like really well made tea, and it does upset me that they would waste a lot of quality tea. Like I get that there was a point that had to be made, but like. Couldn't you have done it over something like flour or stamps or something else that we were contesting? Why would you waste good tea like that?
Well, you got to remember, tea was so extremely influential to us at the time.
True.
I mean, we went to war against China over tea.
That's true. That is true.
Technically heroin, but we went to war against China over tea.
I mean, some would argue that there's very little difference in... okay, all right, back to the game. Here we go. So Smeoz going for the attack just at the right time to cut us off from that discussion. Targeting the minion. Smeoz knows that he has to survive this token here, this control assault, and if he does, then he's guaranteed victory by right breach in control zone 2 once that resolves. So he's going to go all in, and we're going to see what happens.
I am surprised he decided to worship, though. I am no longer surprised he decided to worship. He worshipped to stop his opponent's Akla worshipping in that pillar. That's what happened there. Because I was thinking, why would he worship there? He's not protecting any creeps. But he's protecting the hex from a pillar from Akla. Of course, Akla still has plenty of places he could place a pillar against a chemo, and a chemo is probably the main target. But
yes,
if you change targets.
All right. Question here comes... Does Freyhill try to
discard the present,
kill someone? Okay.
What was the other discard? Sorry, I didn't see the other discard.
I actually missed that one too, I'm afraid.
Gonna have to check.
Inspect the deck or the discard.
Also, I'm pretty sure King of Jokes missed a draw. Why is the deck still empty? Crawling Darkness, that's what it was. So, King of Jokes, if I am correct, had 6 cards and then had to draw 2. And he didn't. The deck is still empty for some reason. But I could be completely wrong, so I don't want to tell the players, because it could just be my mistake here.
Yeah,
I could have sworn he had 2 cards left in deck, and he was taking a 3 draw that round because he killed the tower.
Right. I didn't pay close enough attention to make a judgment on that. Do we maybe just want to message him and ask him if he drew for the end of round, just to be safe?
I mean, the problem is the game is already gone. I think that they're already a bit into the game, which makes it a bit awkward. And the Skytear Drain has already been played. I think that's the argument there. Skytear and Disruption has already been played at this point.
Okay, so yeah, if we've had a material action, that does make a difference then. They're
trying to talk in tabletop, and I don't know why.
Apparently, King is unable to hit the attack buttons.
I'm going to press the refresh button. See if that helped. Did refresh help? Otherwise...
You like disable it and then re-enable it?
I guess it's from the late join. Ah well, I don't mind. Stream might. But not me. We'll just have to keep on... just have to keep thinking about that, as Sinkhole Psychic Shield.
Okay.
Boom, that is a dead pillar.
Excellent. Total destruction.
Why would you even kill the pillar? I don't get it. I don't get why that pillar is so important.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you should... well, Akimo is back up to 14 hit points. Maybe he doesn't think that he'll be...
That would be 6 damage. That would put him to 8, and then you've got Hokusai and Akimo against Tilo there. Like, these guys can do 14.
All right, well, looks like Akimo is going.
I have not balanced this audio for the in-game, so... If you can hear them, tell me.
I can barely hear it. So unfortunately, it's not.
Doom. Akimo has played Doom. And that has got rid of the Song of the Siren.
Oh boy.
Freyhall plays Song of the Siren. You don't see that very often. So Freyhall no longer has any mana, which could be a problem. Because Takali has used up 2 of her 4 mana. Sorry, Freyhall still has a mana. It's turn 4, not turn 3.
Yeah, it's turn 4, so she could do one. She could play a Nourish or a Sacrifice.
Right, but no longer is there any 3s to worry about. No longer is there any blue 3s that he needs to worry about in this lane.
To be fair, I don't think there are any blue 3 cards left. We've seen the Ice Wall, we've seen the Kaz. I mean, I guess there might be one Nature's Reclaims left. Oh wait, he flipped the deck over, didn't he? Yeah, he flipped the deck over. So never mind. None of that matters anymore.
Why is there a pillar there? What is going on? Oh. Is he placing the pillar there to defend that minion more? Because Takali can technically defend minions still, I guess.
That would be the only thing I could think of.
But he's already got a pillar there, and it's protected really, really well.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay. So here's the thought process here. I think, yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense. So here's the thought process. You would want to attack the minion that's against the pillar, I think, there with an Akimo, though. Because that would be 6 damage from Takali, and then she might just die to an Astrader flip. So here's the thought process. If he can kill both of those 2 minions, right? And his opponent, if he kills both those 2 minions, his opponent is unable to kill that 1 minion because it's protected by the Takali. He wins by 1 point. Which kills the tower. That explains why he killed the Takali pillar, because his Takali was protecting that minion as well.
Okay, so that does make sense. You're right.
So this is starting to make a lot more sense now, and that's why you place the pillar exactly there, because otherwise, Takali can't. Takali being in range of your teammate, of your own pillar, doesn't matter. But I would have expected Akimo to have been the one attacking that minion, because if he flips a +3, that's 7 damage, and then Astrader kills Takali.
Right.
Because Astrader can kill Takali here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then that would mean that Freyhall would be able to kill and finish off that minion. But then again, he only has 2 attacks left. His Takali had already activated. He only had the 2 attacks left. So even if Akimo attacked that minion, Takali could kill herself. Takali could absolutely take that damage and kill herself and be fine with it. And then Freyhall would have to... And then Freyhall kills a minion, and there's still a minion there.
Right.
So he needs... So that's why the Doom was played. Doom is stopping a Bewitch or a Call of the Pack right now.
Yes.
So there's no way to kill this minion if once Akimo's activated, so he's got no frenzy. So there's no way to kill this minion. So now King of Jokes just has to clean up.
Okay, there we go.
Man,
we have unraveled the plan.
This game has become a real confusing mess in this round. I love it.
There
is no bloodbath, but I love it nonetheless.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a nice bloodbath with some aggressive flipping there, but instead this has turned into a very cerebral wraparound of control.
He's leading from deck with Hokusai and Akla, though. He's
Better
not
safe than sorry.
You could lead from hand with both of them.
True.
But he's only got 3 cards left in hand, so I guess he's wanting to keep all 3 of those, because it is round 4.
Right, so we've seen... I'm trying to guess what he might still have. We've seen Akimo's ult. We've seen... Have we? I think we've seen 1000th Ritual from King of Jokes. I wonder what he'd be hiding. He's used the slide. Sinkhole is gone. Clear Mind. He might have the Dragon Punch, but he might have the another Unstoppable, maybe.
Maybe. I will say, I just realized that was the only Ice Wall he had in round 3. That's the only Ice Wall he was playing, so that was really good. Okay, so Takali just takes this damage, right? Whatever this flip is, Takali just takes this damage.
I think so, yeah.
And then it's just up to Akimo to just kill the final minion. as Crawling Darkness gets played.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
To slow her? Oh, to reduce the damage Tikali's going to have to take. Right.
Oh, that does make sense, yeah. Because being shapeshifted, Freyhill will do piercing damage, but if you can still cut that in half... Oh, and there comes the charm to steal it away. Or, nope, we're just going to cleanse the disarm. Okay.
Okay.
So that's actually really good.
I will admit, I am a little surprised that he didn't... oh my god, I forgot the word. It begins with a D. It's the word that I was just talking about, how people use. Dawdle. Dawdle? Dawdle?
I think you said dawdle.
Durdle. There we go.
Durdle.
I'm surprised you didn't durdle with the Streeter instead. Just attack Tikali, make this more risky. Because if Akimo had actually played an Unstoppable, if it is an Unstoppable, then Freyhill could have taken the Frenzy with Charm.
Yes.
And then that could have been hilarious. Because it would have been, you played a card you did not need to play, and it has resulted in some bad things. It has resulted in the end attacked that minion twice and potentially lost it, and so you lose the game. Which would be hilarious in my opinion. 2 zeros. Alright.
Alright. So we're still fighting very carefully over this Control Zone 1, but as of right now, with no presence, we see that both Tielmo and Freyhill had to lead from the deck. So their control value is going to be 2+.
Right.
Whatever.
Of course, that is another thing that the Doom stopped by flipping that Song of the Sire, and it stopped a presence.
So the other thing too is I did miss this is Tikali, Teal Kali, if we will, is also now in range of Control Zone 1.
Yes.
And so therefore, if King of Jokes can secure a 3-card lead here, then that will be game. So that's what he needs to go for.
Yes.
Otherwise, he loses because
keeping this 1 minion alive has saved him.
Because if he does not win, then there is a 0% chance he survives Control Zone 2.
It's kind of crazy, you know? You put both of your pushing heroes on that lane, but you move them into the edge, and then all of this happens as a result. Purely because they couldn't get over there to help. As right reach goes down.
Ping right range, yep.
Boom. Game over. He got 2 3s to lead with. He can choose either of them. He could always choose Burning Frenzy and so not win. But I don't think he's going to choose that one.
No, considering that he's doing the victory ping spam over right. Yes, so it looks to me as though this is indeed King of Jokes' game. Victory by right breach. A wild game indeed.
Yeah, who would have thought it? Blue-green gets pushed out by red-green. Tikali wasn't even in that lane that he pushed.
I know. That's yeah, I think that's the wild thing is that, like...
She was essential. Don't get me wrong. She was absolutely essential in keeping that minion alive. This one minion being left alive was crucial. Killing that pillar was crucial. We didn't see it. Killing that pillar was absolutely crucial to prevent his Tikali also defending and evening that up. Comes down to Tikali protections.
Yep. I mean, that's really what we can say about that is by getting rid of the only way to protect the minion, kill the minion, that lets him win by 1 point, and with 1 point of HP left on the tower, that's all he needed was one final point there.
Now, I still can't tell what they're saying. I don't know if they're talking about the game or not, but if they're talking about the game, that's really weird because they're in Discord. I think they might be expecting us to go over there, and that's why they're pinging harder. Maybe.
Okay. In that case, let's go ahead and jump in and see what they have to say about the game.
Io ci fossi in col turno 1. Oof.
Well, hello.
Oh my god.
What a game. What a game. There was no bloodshed in the end. That obstinacy is clean. And red-green manages to push it out.
Yeah. You know Akimo Akla can control against the Strider.
I mean, they can flip twice, which kills those minions really well.
Yeah, indeed. It's an aggro versus minion.
Oh my god. I probably I've make I don't know why. I don't know why I have to put Trakali and the Stride on total on the right on the map, and on turn 3, I have realized that
Yeah.
no one can't follow the other guys in the my.
Yeah, you move them to those really safe edge hexes, which turned out to not be so safe.
Yeah. Because in my mind, in turn 2, I suppose that I will win the push. The push of the lane. But because I will attend that Akla, Akimo, and Dogosai try to kill my
one of your characters.
my heroes. But yeah.
Look at how healthy those heroes are.
Yeah, indeed.
Seriously,
indeed. Oh, I'm disconnected. Oh
dear.
But yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, because in turn 2, when on turn 1, sorry, when I was the second player, I always like to be the second one because you have the last activation, and when I see right breach, and I have Akla already with a blind lead, and I have Akimo free, so Akimo couldn't reach. Trakali because Smeoz played well, putting a Strida in a way that I couldn't reach turn 1 Trakali, which was marked by Ogosai.
It was a great Astrida play.
Yeah, indeed. So and other Smeoz heroes were both in the dome. So I realized that there is a right breach. I can push very far this lane. And then all the game based on turn one. I said, okay, now I have to close my eyes and continue to push since I was lucky that the right tower was in the number 1 control token. So it's just that I hold in my hand the Sinkhole. Which allows me to put to left is Tlakali in the left lane, and I was lucky to flip +3 because I'm in by the seaside, 40 degrees, with my computer in my legs, and I think I'm gonna have an heart attack. Because it's too hot here now, so I miscount the turn 3, and then because I didn't count the presents. So
yeah, I have planning all around my presence because I have presence since turn 1, and I don't have used it with the flux for pushing my right lane because in my mind is. The plan is spam minions on turn 2 with Bewitch, and on turn 3 kill the towers. And probably it was fine because I have count good, I suppose, because I don't have lost in turn 3. I have played presence and I lead the trade from the hand. I'm still alive at 1 HP. But the lead of 3 of Trakali has killed me, of course.
That was a nice ult, not played, but on the blind lead. And I think, as I said before to Smeoz, the turning point of this type of game was in turn 1 when I decided to take all 5 damage to Trakali.
Yeah,
because I did want to draw the first turn in my left lane, and then I can push my right lane. So I have 1 turn in advantage.
To be fair, Smeoz is making you bleed so hard with those. He kept flipping 3s against those minions.
Yeah, indeed. And then okay, I'm happy.
But my Yakimo has drank of blood, but if Yakimo and Dakla attack the minions, my Yakimo can't attack his heroes because I got for right breach. So my Yakimo is no, attack me. But no, never happened.
My assassins were peace and love this game. Let's make love, not attacks.
There was
That's
so many
fair.
swings and roundabouts towards the end there as well. Like, how did it feel when that ice wall came down?
I had obviously a frenzy in my hand. And Akimo was marked before,
Yeah.
so he is gonna. And I have a Doom also in hand, so that Akimo was dead for sure. So
Yeah, and that would have been a win.
I didn't expect that, but killing a hero was pretty much game over. But my plan was to push a lot. So that ice wall was very big.
That ice wall saved him, and then the
Indeed.
blind lead from top on the Hogasai ult.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was daylight.
At first, surely you must have felt disappointment at first, like, oh damn, I don't get my Hogasai ult. Oh wait, I just survived by one.
Yeah, indeed. No, I felt so bad for Smeoz because you always plan all the things, you always count, but at the end the luck was bigger by my side.
As Smeoz said, he was playing around this presence. If he could have just not had to play presence in lane 1, that was a dead tower.
Yeah, indeed. So, that was an hard game. Always if you want to at least try to beat Smeoz, you have to sweat a lot. But this time I was lucky. I was prepared for a long game. This is for sure. But,
I mean, round 4, long game.
Yeah, but for long rounds, because you can go so fast killing so many heroes and have 4 turns at 40 minutes, even less. But this time, when you play a control game, you have to think every single action points you spend, because every single action point is important. Every single mana you can use is important.
You showed that really well with that Dark Vigilante in round 3. Round 2.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Probably one mistake that I have done is use Dark Vigilante in turn 1. I have tried to make some damage to Trakali for don't prevent the damage of the minions and attack the totem, because I am the first player and I can spawn with a Strider. But probably it's easy to say at the finish of the game, but probably
hindsight's 20/20.
The right choice should be defense my lane on my left. So
killed one of his minions.
Sorry,
exactly.
my girlfriend was calling me. Sorry.
Bye, King. No, I want to say that with Dark Vigilante kill the minions, so Akimo can kill the heroes. And,
indeed. Well, it was the right play, but at the end, your damage dealers were the other side of the map, so you didn't commit. I think if you killed all the minions there, I don't know if you could have done that, or if you could kill. You could
it
have
was
killed
just one minion. You just needed one more minion
minions.
dead.
Yeah, 3 minions in your left lane actually. So you clean all my minions in your you can.
And the shoes is yours in this time, because you have to choose if push, so attack the minions or attack the heroes. And I don't have to choose, because I can only attack the heroes, and it's more easy for me.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, guys. So thank you for the hosting. Thank you for the streaming. Thank you for the game, Smeoz.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The battle report.
Good job getting into that finals. I'll try and see you there.
Yeah.
I will sit in the commentary booth, so I can just sit here and be like, all right, we got Game Slayer on one side and Smeoz on the other. No. Oh, we are in for a treat now.
Yeah.
Smeoz didn't win.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was perfect. I'm all right. I'm just gonna stop talking since I screwed that one up. I apologize. I have no idea what I just watched for 75 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you all, guys.
You're the best.
Good game, guys, from both of you. That was very fun to watch.
Yeah.
I love those pillar plays at the end.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
This has been me, GameSlayer99, aka No Brainer, and RG Commander. Say bye-bye, RG.
We'll see you guys next time.
Signing.